You're about to learn the real reason why Faker is the greatest player to ever play League of Legends. Today, we're going to be revealing the skills nobody can see, which Faker is using to dominate the best players in the world.
Oh, look at the cleanse, look at the moves! Faker, what was that?
First, we're going to simplify one of the more ambiguous terms that you'll often hear, priority. It all can be a bit overwhelming. So let's make things easy and simplify lane phase priority to something like taking turns, and you'll soon see why Faker is so good at this. A turn is whenever you're able to freely move from the lane, be it roam, recall, ward, etc. And the way you get that opportunity is by crashing a wave at your opponent's tower. This does one of two things. First, it keeps your opponent locked in lane since they have to sit there and farm the wave at their turret. 2, it causes a bounce back wave. But what separates players like Faker from me and you is how he actually puts this concept into action. Faker specifically uses a lot of small things and techniques to get more turns than his opponents and utilizes those opportunities to their maximum potential. Mid laners have an important timing window right around 6 minutes into the game. This is generally the time when you get to level 6, as we saw here. Getting your ult is a huge power spike, especially for mid laners who tend to have some of the best ultimates in the game. So getting a turn to freely move from your lane at this time is a huge deal. But what is just as important to know is that the honey fruit plant will spawn in both sides of the river every game somewhere between 6 and 6.5 minutes. So what you can copy is what Faker did here by trading all of his health to get the push over Chovy. Now, of course, in solo queue, you can't guarantee that your roam timers will result in a kill. There's just no coordination, right? But in the best case scenario, you can use this timing to roam and kill someone in another lane. Worst case scenario, you trade your health for a free turn, it doesn't work, so you just eat the honey fruit and go back to laning as normal. There's nothing to lose and everything to gain. And finally, we can't wrap this guide up without including at least one example of Faker's intelligent mid-game macro decision making. And what better replay to analyze than when Faker was in his base, teleported to mid lane, did literally nothing, then just shamefully walked to another lane. While that looks silly, this is one of those invisible moments that makes Faker so good, and how he wins his team so many games through simple plays that even you can copy. Faker's teleport wasn't to make a play, it was just to give his teammates the confidence to walk up and push the wave. This is what's known as mid-priority. The point is that your team pushes a wave into the enemy side of the map. This forces at least one of your opponents to have to clear the wave. While that happens, your team now has a momentary numbers advantage. You can then use this to establish vision control over one side of the map, typically where the next objective you're contesting will be. All you have to do is group up with your team to push the wave in mid and get priority. Then you have a sweeper or a control ward in your inventory and just rotate over to a side lane, clearing some wards on the way. Push that side lane out and then regroup with your team. You can consistently achieve this in solo queue without any coordination. Whenever you tune into T1's games, pay close attention and you'll see just how often Faker does this exact rotation. It's very underappreciated, but it's one of the major reasons they can close out games so effortlessly. He syncs up with his teammates around mid, then he helps them by clearing vision on his way to a side lane. There, he pushes out the wave, and then regroups with his team. He does this exact play constantly. Having vision control over an objective and pushing waves is a recipe for not only success in competitive play, but also in any elo that you may be in. Just watch how much importance Faker places on this subtle rotation when you watch T1, and you will quickly realize why you should be doing it every single game you can. Faker is probably one of the easiest professional players to learn from by just watching him. You may not be able to imitate his mechanics, but a lot of the decisions he makes to win games are just simple fundamentals when broken down like we did here. You just need to have a keen eye and be looking for those subtle moments where he sets a play up and not just the flashy end results.